You're listening to the Orange Power Podcast, a product of Oklahoma State Athletics. Here are your hosts, Jessica Maury and the voice of the Cowboys, Dave Hunziker.
We start, as always, with Coach Boynton getting ready for Bedlam on Saturday against Oklahoma, but let's just look at things a bit holistically now. You know, you just continue to fight and persevere, and you've just been so many positives despite some many challenges. In fact, now we're starting to even get messages from colleagues, broadcast colleagues from the conference and across the country about what this team is doing in terms of persevering. So do the players, are they grasping at all just what their effort means? Has that really struck them? Maybe the little bit of a piece in history they're playing out, even though they don't have a chance to play in the postseason. Do they get it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know if our players, 19 to 22, really understand the gravity of what's going on and the things that people are seeing from the outside. Because a big part of it is they know there's no reward at the end, right? And so I think they have rallied around each other and are playing with a sense of pride for the work that they put in. But as adults, as coaches, that we see how difficult what they're going through could be. And so we appreciate very much that they've continued to try to represent the program the right way, have continued to work hard, have continued to put themselves in position to win games against some of the best competition in the country.
It's interesting. You've now set a school record with 5 overtime games, and there have been a bunch of others that have gone to the end. And the reality is Monday's game was against Baylor. You could have easily won that game. You're in position to win that game. This team could be sitting easily with 16 or 17 wins against the third best schedule in the country. It's not far away from being in a position where you'd be flirting with ranking in the top 25 in the country, really.
Yeah, and that's what's really frustrating about just the whole situation is that we knew we had built a roster that could be extremely competitive, not only in the Big 12, but nationally. And then we built a schedule to try to put ourselves in position to accomplish many things that we thought the roster could accomplish. And so obviously without the opportunity to do so, the fact that these kids have continued to compete, like I said, put themselves in position, other than a handful of games, I would say at Texas Tech, at Kansas, we've been in every game and have had a chance to win most all of them, including, the one Monday against the defending national championship team. And so we look forward to, giving ourselves an opportunity to go on the road and play against our in-state rival again and try to put another strike in the win column.
Moussa Cisse, the last handful of games, has averaged 12 points and 7 rebounds per game. He shot almost 70% from the field. What's led to his growth offensively?
Well, it's just work. It always starts there. The kid's a really good kid. I think he's kind of finally settled into his role here. His understanding of what we expect from him, not only from a defensive rim protecting standpoint, but from an offensive production standpoint. And we don't throw him the ball a ton, but we do put him in a lot of pick and rolls. We do ask him to get to the offensive glass. And the thing that's become, a little bit of a weapon for us is that you just can't foul him and assume it's a turnover. He goes to the free throw line with confidence. He missed a few the other night, but he's shooting the ball at the free throw line much better than he did coming into the year.
You have a chance to do something that's not been done in 50 years, and that's post a 5th straight win over Oklahoma. It's been almost 60 years since that's been done.
Yeah, that was brought to my attention that we hadn't swept them in back-to-back years in some time now. And so that'll be something I'll talk to our guys about. We understand the gravity of this game, as I always mention. It's not just another game on the schedule. It's not just another Big 12 game, but it's a game that means a lot more to our fans and former players. And we'll go play with a chip on our shoulders and an aggressiveness that is required to win a game that's going to be highly competitive. And obviously they have a lot at stake right now. And so we expect to get their best punch on the other side.
What was the biggest key to winning round 1? And to what extent could that carry over to round 2 of Bedlam?
Our defense was sensational. I think we forced 17 turnovers. We were able to turn a lot of those into baskets on the other end. And we did a really good job on Emoji Gibson. I think he was held scoreless in that game, if my memory serves me correct. Obviously, at the time, Harkless was a big factor, and we didn't do a good job on him, nor did we do a good job on Tanner Groves. So we'll have to do a better job on Groves, understand that Harkless is out. But we can't allow Gibson to find his rhythm. He's been playing much, much better at home than on the road.
So as you think about these last 3 games, can you treat it like your own little NCAA tournament or conference tournament? Is that a mentality you can create with this team to say, hey, we've got 3, let's go win them all, and we'll win our own little tournament? Is that a realistic way to approach it?
Yeah, we've pretty much tried to put everything in that context to at least give them an idea that it's being talked about in our locker room. But, starting Saturday, we'll play 3 games in 7 days. It'll kind of be like a semi-tournament for us. And so we're going to focus on trying to put ourselves in position to win our road game in advance, if you will, to the next round, which will be in Ames next Wednesday. And then hopefully we can come home next Saturday in front of a good crowd and celebrate our seniors who will be playing their last game in Gallup Arena.
What do you think will be the greatest life lessons that your players will take away from this when it's all over with?
I hope there are a couple of things. One is control what you can control. Make sure you keep the focus on the things that you can do every day, which is be positive, bring great energy, and work as hard as you can. The other thing, which is a little bit bigger of a point, but even more important, is make sure that the people you choose to associate with, right, are people that you can trust when you're not around them. And so I say that with understanding that nobody here had anything to do with this, but it was an association with someone that put us in this situation. So we have to understand that the people we choose to spend our time with can sometimes affect something that we have out in the distance that we don't know about.
From an on-the-court standpoint, with 3 games to go, what is an area perhaps that you are excited about seeing maybe take an even bigger step forward to close things out? Is there anything specifically that you're really excited about that you could see going up another notch?
Yeah, just finishing. I think we put ourselves in great position here in many of our conference games in the last month or so. We just haven't finished well. We haven't closed as well as I hoped we would. And we'll have a great opportunity. I would imagine Saturday's game will be close. We'll have a chance to prove that. We'll go on to Ames and we'll put ourselves in position. It'll be hard as heck to go up there and win, as it always is. And then finishing will be the ultimate story about next Saturday when we play our final home game.
Coming up, Coach Littell and Casey Kendrick talk Cowgirl basketball. Stay with us.
Hello, sweet babies. Welcome to your new home. You have changed our life, and you may even change the world. And because of you, 2021 is the best year ever. Mercy has helped moms deliver babies for nearly 200 years. To find out how to welcome your baby at Mercy, visit mercy.net/OSUmom.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, bikes for the whole family are just a click away. Buy online at academy.com with our free in-store assembly. Your next set of wheels, plus helmets, pads, and water bottles will be waiting for you at our in-store pickup counter. Get to the fun faster with our in-store pickup and free assembly at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
When we made the decision that we were going to build the Durant Solar Farm, we had the idea of an anchor tenant, and the first one that we thought about was the Choctaw Nation.
It was a perfect fit for us whenever OG&E approached us about this relationship and this idea. They reflect a lot of our same values. They're about growth of our communities. They're about growth of our state. They're trying to help us preserve Oklahoma, our heritage here in the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma.
Decorative towel.
There was a mess. I wiped up a mess.
Yeah, you...
Where is the box? Never mind, I found it.
Welcome back, football fans. We'll see you in the fridge.
Thanks, Dave and Coach Boynton, and appreciate that as we continue with the Orange Power Podcast. Let's turn our attention to women's basketball. Casey Kendrick along with the head man, Coach Jim Littell. And
Coach, let's talk about the last couple of weeks. Up and down, some wins, some close wins, and, that's just kind of been indicative of the whole season, not only for your team, but also for the Big 12.
Well, it has, and you and I talked before about teams with 3 losses, and that's uncommon for this time of year, and we've had a lot of inconsistency. We would have liked to played better. And, our inconsistency has been mainly our shooting. So our kids continue to play hard. We've guarded on the defensive end, and we just got to see some shots fall.
Well, and, it's not just talking about the last week. Bramlage Coliseum wasn't just tough now. It's always tough. You can have the number 1 ranked team in the country, no matter if you're Baylor, whoever it is. You go to Bramlage Coliseum, and that is just always a very tough place to play.
A lot of teams go in there and struggle. I don't know what it is, and we've taken a lot of teams in there and never have consistently shot the ball well. We caught fire at the end of the game last year and ended up winning the ball game, but it has been a difficult place to play.
So let's talk about this trip. You go up there, Coach. Again, they've got Aoka Lee. They've got lots of length, which they always do. So even the top end of their zone defense, it's tough to get good, easy shots, even though it is a zone. Their heels are on that 3 line. So that the style of defense makes it difficult, and certainly that first half offensively was a tough one.
Oh, it was a challenge. We haven't had a lot of point production inside this year, and to play against their zone, you've got to get the ball inside because they spread it out so much on shooters. And when we did get it in, we weren't real consistent on how we passed it out, and then we couldn't make a shot as well. So it was definitely a tough first half, and we played well the second half, but we were far enough behind that it was a difficult task to try to catch up.
Well, it was, but again, the effort in the ball game, Coach, is just tremendous defensively. You held them to 22 points in the first half, and you held them 10 points below their average at home. Defensively, this is, I don't know how good this team is overall, but it's not. It may be one of your top defensive teams that you ever had. Now, again, there's no Natasha Mack rejecting everything, but point production-wise on the other teams, you have really held teams in check all year long.
Well, I think we're second or third in the league in defense, so that tells you that the group is working hard and they're locked in on the defensive end. I think we challenge shots, and we've rebounded the basketball better as of late, and we don't send people to the foul line a lot. So, we've got a lot of the pieces that it takes to be good defensively.
Well, and again, the lid came off in that second half, Coach, but a little bit too little too late. But the question then is, coming away from a game like that, you won 2 in a row prior to that, tough ball game. How would your kids respond to the number 5 team in the country? And your kids responded quite well. 7-0 run to start the ball game. You're up 7, lots of the first quarter, and at different times we're in this game. Your kids responded beautifully against Baylor.
We played hard and came out and got off to a good start, and then had a little lapse the end of the first quarter and part of the second quarter, and that was the difference in the ball game. But we had a lot of positive things go on. We scored 23 points off of their turnovers. We only gave up 6 offensive boards. Our turnovers were only 13, which is our goal is to be 12 or less. So we did a lot of good things, but you looked up at the end of the night and we missed 52 shots.
Well, and so you look at the hustle points. The only place they beat you were points in the paint, points off turnovers, second chance points, transition points, bench points. Everything belonged to you guys. And, you won the third quarter, you won the fourth quarter, and you only lost the first quarter by a single point. Just tells you how ready your kids were and how locked in they were to the game plan.
Well, it is, and then it goes back to what you said a little bit about some inconsistency in spots throughout the game. But, we challenged our kids to play hard. We practiced them hard leading up to the game, and I thought we competed, and we pulled within 1 with probably 3 or 4 minutes to go and missed about 5 open looks, and they came down and scored, and it was the difference in the ball game.
It was, and again, there's no real victory in a near miss, but it's one that continues to tell us where your kids are emotionally. And now they go to a place that it's going to be tough to play. I mean, it's a West Virginia team in Morgantown that is not they're not having the year they anticipated they would have either, but they're athletic, and Morgantown, another tough place to go.
It is a tough place to play, and we've gone in there and got wins, and they've come in here and got wins. Sometimes it's always a hard-fought battle when you play Coach Carey's team. They're going to be very strong. They're going to be very physical. They're going to try to take things away. And we'll need to be locked in and be very ball strong against their group.
Well, and that's Sunday. Turn around, come back for your final regular season home match. And, Coach, and that's against Oklahoma, Bedlam round 2. And enough said on that deal, right?
Well, absolutely. And we'd love to have a huge crowd in here. I thought the crowd that we had against Texas Tech was game-changing. And when you play OU, either side, you could throw the records out. It's a Bedlam game, and people are going to want to compete and get after it.
At West Virginia on Sunday, Oklahoma midweek. Coach, always appreciate the time. Best of luck this upcoming week.
Thanks, Casey.
And that's going to wrap up the Orange Power Podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. For Coach Littell, I'm Casey Kendrick. We'll see you next time on the Orange Power Podcast.